Do you remember, in childhood, a single summer vacation felt like a lifetime? A 45-minute class was an eternity. But now, 2024, 2025, entire years just slipped through your fingers. You can't even remember what you were doing this time last year. Why? Why? Do we feel like life is constantly accelerating? The answer to this question isn't written on a calendar, nor is it in a physicist's formula. It is hidden in one of the greatest intellectual showdowns of the 20th century. On one side, the man who defined our cosmic space-time. On the other, the master who redefined our inner time. Before them, humanity's greatest minds had also tried to solve this mystery. Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher who saw perfect forms in the heavens, believed time was simply the motion of the stars. And after him, Albert Einstein, the genius who wove space and time into a single fabric, defined time as a malleable fourth dimension. But one man said they were all fundamentally mistaken. They were all measuring the container of time, yet ignoring time itself, the flowing experience that we can actually feel. That man was the French philosopher Henri Bergson. His theory of time was so radical that it put him on a direct collision course with Einstein himself. During a lecture in Paris. Before we dive into that legendary debate, you need to know who Henri Bergson was. He was not just a philosopher. He was a prominent figure of early 20th century thought, and his ideas influenced countless modern writers, artists, and intellectuals. He was also a brilliant mathematician, and in 1927, he received the Nobel Prize in Literature. Recognizing his profound and innovative contributions, his doctoral thesis, Time and Free Will, published in 1889, marked a pivotal moment in the philosophy of time. In it, he challenged traditional linear views of time and connected it deeply to human consciousness. The beauty of this work lies not just in its theoretical brilliance, but in its call for us to reconnect with real time, and in doing so, with ourselves. So, what did Bergson mean by real time? To understand that, we first have to understand the time. We think we know the time on our clocks. Traditional time, also known as measured time, is linear and divided into separate moments, seconds, minutes, and hours tracked by the clock. This view sees time as a straight line moving from past to present to future. It's a practical concept, essential for organizing life. Einstein expanded on this by defining time as the fourth dimension, intrinsically tied to space. But Henri Bergson argued that this definition of time is an illusion, a construct created to simplify human life. While practical, he believed it causes harm to our minds. Bergson referred to this as abstract, artificial, or spatialized time, a framework often used by scientists to study closed systems. Bergson saw a fundamental flaw in this traditional perspective. What about the passage of time as we experience it, influenced by our moods and mental state? He introduced the concept of duration, la durée, a deeply personal and subjective experience of time. Unlike clock time, duration cannot be measured. It can only be felt, and it varies from person to person, depending on their state of mind. Consider how time feels when we're scrolling through social media. An hour can pass in what feels like 10 minutes. On the other hand, if we're stuck in a room with nothing to do but watch the clock tick, that same hour can stretch endlessly, feeling like two. Bergson opposed this artificial clock time. He believed that the constant ticking of the clock's hands pulls us away from deeper experiences. In his view, it becomes a master to which we are enslaved, constantly pushing ourselves to keep up. For Bergson, this relentless focus on measured time is a major reason the modern world feels so rushed and burdened with anxiety and depression. In April 1922, during a lecture in Paris, Henri Bergson unintentionally found himself in a debate with Albert Einstein about the nature of time. This encounter is often regarded as one of the greatest intellectual debates of the 20th century. The lecture was originally intended as a discussion on Einstein's theory of relativity, with Bergson, then a 62-year-old intellectual, seated among the audience. Bergson was not only a respected philosopher, but also a celebrated public figure. During the debate, Bergson began by praising Einstein's contributions, but then shared his views on human experience and its relationship with time. Einstein, caught off guard, eventually replied by asserting that there is no philosophical time, only psychological time and absolute time. The debate quickly garnered media attention. Though it ended without a clear winner, many in the scientific community believed Einstein had prevailed. However, Bergson did understand Einstein's theory. He was neither out of touch with science nor mathematics. Bergson likened scientists to surgeons who were attempting to perform delicate operations with the wrong tools. Instead of using a scalpel, they were wielding a knife, leading to flawed conclusions. He criticized the scientific view of time as merely a spatial dimension, arguing that time is fundamentally different from space. For Bergson, time, or duration, was succession without distinction and mutual penetration. He saw it as an interconnected flow where each element represents the whole and cannot be isolated, except through abstract thought. Asterisk. So how does this profound but abstract theory of Bergson's answer our initial question: why does our sense of time accelerate as we age? The answer is hidden in the fundamental difference between duration and clock time. First, it's because of the decline in novelty. In our youth, time feels slower because our experiences are novel and vivid. The first day of school, making a new friend for the first time, seeing the ocean for the first time. Every first captures our full attention and leaves deep, distinct impressions on our memory. Each moment feels expansive, enriched by the newness and discovery that define childhood. As we grow older, however, life often becomes more routine, with fewer novel stimuli to engage us or form distinct memories. We have set jobs, set commutes, set social circles. Our brain no longer needs to devote its full attention to everything. Much of the time, it runs on autopilot. This creates a sense of time contraction, where long stretches pass by almost unnoticed because there are no unique memory anchors to mark their passage. Secondly, Henri Bergson also emphasized the proportionality of time to lived experience. This concept is simple. For a 10-year-old child, a single year represents a substantial fraction, 10%, of their entire life, making it feel longer. For a 50-year-old adult, that same year constitutes a much smaller proportion, only 2%, giving the impression that it flies by. But Bergson's insights go deeper than this. He connected time and consciousness on a more profound level. Unlike mechanical time, which is linear and artificially constructed, duration reflects a network of endlessly complex, interwoven moments deeply tied to our consciousness. How does this connection work? According to Bergson, duration is a qualitative continuation of our experiences, where everything is stored in the present. In his view, the past is not lost or separated from us. It exists within us in the form of memories, emotions, and experiences, continually shaping how we perceive the present. These memories are not static or distant. They are alive, influencing our understanding of reality. Similarly, the future is not something external or waiting to unfold. It exists as a potential within our consciousness, shaping our thoughts and actions as we move forward. So for him, the now is never isolated. It is the convergence of past and future. This ongoing flow of experiences is what Bergson referred to as duration, emphasizing the complexity and richness of time as it exists within us. Bergson's ideas didn't just redefine philosophy. They influenced broader cultural and intellectual movements. His exploration of subjective time resonated with existentialists and phenomenologists like Sartre and Merleau-Ponty, who also emphasized the importance of lived experience. Early psychologists valued his insights into memory as a dynamic and active force. These ideas extended into art as well. Bergson believed that artists had a unique ability to express the essence of time in ways that science and philosophy could not. Writers like Marcel Proust and James Joyce, inspired by Bergson, created works that blurred the boundaries between past, present, and future. In Proust's In Search of Lost Time, memories resurface unbidden, blending with the present, reflecting Bergson's concept of duration. Similarly, Joyce's Ulysses condenses a single day into a rich tapestry of inner experiences, where time becomes fluid. For Bergson, art offered a vital counterbalance to the dominance of mechanical time. It reminded people of the depth and texture of their inner lives, something clocks and formulas could never capture. While there shouldn't be a total negation of the utility of measured time for organizing life, he urged us to reconnect with the flow of duration. By doing so, we can resist the alienation of modern life and rediscover moments of stillness and presence. So, how can we do this in practice? Create new experiences. Go to a place you've never been. Learn a skill you've never tried. Talk to someone from a completely different background. Break your routine and wake your brain up from its autopilot mode. Engage fully. When you are with your loved ones, put down your phone and truly listen and feel. When you are immersed in your hobbies, forget about the clock and focus only on the creation and experience of the present moment. When we do this, we are allowing time to enrich us rather than control us. We are transforming those fleeting, forgotten years back into a weighty, meaningful duration of life, filled with unique memories and profound feelings. In the end, we cannot make the clock tick slower, but we absolutely have the power to make the life we feel longer, wider, and deeper.